Hey everybody, welcome to the Power Hour of Love. I'm Charboil and this is
El Bandito.
How's it going tonight, El Bandito?
Oh man, you know, I'm having an awesome night tonight. You can see we're twinsies, bro. We're matching it up for the indie advocates out there, man. We got to thank Rob Andersin so much for hooking us up with some awesome shirts and some awesome swag, man. And man, the indie takeover up there at Daytona Beach Comic-Con, it hasn't ended yet because it took over part of the Power Hour tonight, man. So we've got a lot of cool stuff to go over tonight. Like we promised, we are doing our fall preview for video games tonight. We're going to talk about the latest and greatest games. They're going to be coming out here in either the last few days, the next few days, or in the next month or so to get you guys psyched about all the hottest games. And these are our picks. There's a lot of stuff coming out, but we picked our favorite games that we think you guys are going to love, man. So thanks for joining us tonight. But of course, like we said, real quick, we're going to preface that by telling you guys a little bit about the awesome time that we had at the Daytona Beach Comic-Con, all the awesome folks we met down there, and the awesome indie takeover. But to start things off, man, we got a couple of holidays today, man.
Oh yeah, man. Let's dive on in.
Well, remember, it's the 5th of November.
Oh, you know it, man. No, I really like this movie.
Absolutely, man. V for Vendetta was great. The whole gunpowder plot and stuff like that with Guy Fawkes it's changed a whole bunch over the years. There's a lot of different ideologies that kind of got behind it and used it for different things. But we figured that it was probably good of us to remind people, hey, government's important, There's voting stuff tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Go and do it. There, okay, we did our public service. Go and vote. I got 7,000 text messages a day from people telling me to vote. So there, I passed it on. Now hopefully they can leave me the hell alone.
I saw a pretty funny meme relating to the Guy Fawkes mask, and somebody was like, oh, today it's the birthday of that guy that's always picking on me on the internet. So it's kind of funny, how that, like you said, it's transitioned. You got, of course, V for Vendetta and then Anonymous. It's just there's so many different things have kind of come out of all that. But absolutely, man, the 5th of November, man, 2018 is almost already here and gone.
You know it, man. But it's good to have some fun and remember these cool events. You guys should take the time not only to vote tomorrow, but look up some history on the actual Guy Fawkes, the story behind it over in England and stuff like that, and the UK, and what was going on in Parliament. Political stuff's kind of important, but check it out. Use credible sources and learn for yourself what the truth is behind the stories, behind the things that people tell you that aren't necessarily super true. But one thing we can say that is super true and that we do 1,000% believe in, support in, is our United States Armed Forces, man. Next week, Veterans Day is coming up. But first, you got to remember, it's the Marine Corps birthday today. So,
oh, yeah, man. We know quite a few of the Legion of Love are former Marines, man. So definitely, that's really cool, man.
Absolutely.
So definitely hats off to you guys. Oh, you have to throw them to love. Like you said, of course, everyone always just thinks of Veterans Day as being that day to say thanks. But, we definitely every time we can, thanking those brave men and women who are out there protecting our everything, everything that we know and love.
No doubt,
they protect the Power Hour.
Well, yeah, they give us the right to say the bullshit that we say every week. But the Marine Corps birthday is a special celebration for when the Marine Corps was created and stuff like that. So it's super cool. So as someone who has a personal connection to a number of Marines out there, Bishop, Justin K, the list goes on and on. I just want to say Semper Fi. But from the Power Hour love as nerds, I'm going to tell you ad Victorum.
Very cool, man. Very cool. So, like we said, had some birthdays, man. But, man, not just today, man. Like you said, this past weekend, man, we had such a good time, man, going up to Daytona Beach.
Absolutely, man. We went up to the Daytona Beach Comic-Con. And, guys, Daytona Beach is so crazy, man. I'm sure some of the Legion of Love members who got to see us post right away, our first night out there, man, we're walking up and down the streets, we're checking out the scene, dude, and we saw these funny mannequins out there. We wanted to make a little joke on them, and we made our video right in front of it. And right there where we're doing the live video, this, traffic pulls up, and there's a guy and his girlfriend in the car right there, and they start shouting at us, and they're like, bro, get us in the video, man.
I know. Most time people are like, You know, like they don't want their face. No, these guys are totally like ready to jump right in and be part of the action. So we had just ended the video, but we said, dude, let's get a shot of those guys. And we totally got an awesome photo with that couple. Thank you, Daytona.
Yeah, and they were so psyched. So that's how welcoming Daytona is, man. Like, those guys are just psyched up there for having a good time and having fun. And it like, everybody we met there was crazy friendly, weren't they?
Oh, man, you know it, man. Ever since the first time we went to Daytona Beach Comic-Con, man, and Daytona, man, it's always been welcome with open arms, man.
Oh, no doubt. I'm just talking about the city itself.
Oh,
like that
sure.
first night we were there, just meeting random. I mean, the con is the con. I mean, people are just amazing there. We talked about it in April in the summer. I mean, Tom and his crew, they put together such an amazing event, you know? But the city of Daytona really blew me away because we don't usually just wander the city.
Yes.
You know, but we had gotten there kind of early the night before. We said, hey, let's wander around. Let's get into the shit. Let's see what Daytona's all about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I came up here once for Bike Week. He said, I've been up here once for Bike Week. We know this place is a party.
Crazy time.
Man, all you guys playing Red Dead out there, this is like Tumbleweed City when it's not Bike Week. I was like, where's everybody at, man? We had to ask a bouncer at a bar, like, who was amazingly friendly. He was so cool. And I know you even told me, you're like, dude, that was the Daytona Beach Bishop right there.
Yes,
you know, because he looked like him. He was
every
tall,
town
bald,
has a bishop.
You know? He was so nice. And, you know, he looked so tough and so scary. And we were just like, hey, man, you know, we were wondering where the party's at tonight. And this guy's just like, bro, if you want to head up about 2 blocks, you can head over on Seabreeze, man. They got Coyote Uglies up there. It's going to be a super jam. And we're like, oh, this guy's the bomb, man. Thank you so much. So the whole city of Daytona Beach, man, we love you guys. You guys were super nice out there. We had a great time. Shit, even the people at Burger King were super friendly. The guy at Burger King was like having a blast talking to us, man.
It was,
but
man.
We did actually make it to the Daytona Beach Comic-Con, and we'd love to tell you guys a little bit about all the awesome stuff that we had there and we saw there because it was so amazing, man. We got to catch up with Andrea from the Gourmet Chocolatier.
Oh,
we know you guys know her. We know Big Steve Z out there. He knows her, man. He got his hands on some of those tasty gourmet Belgian chocolates, man. Back when he won the video game tournament thing. What is that?
Yeah, the Name That Game
tournament. That's what it was. And he won himself a couple of pieces of candy, including an R2-D2, a white chocolate painted R2-D2. That was amazing, man. So I know that was totally psyched, bro. But getting to talk to her again was a lot of fun.
Oh, man, absolutely, man. I got to, I know last time you got to get a taste test, so this time I was like, man, I gotta dig in. I gotta indulge with the Gourmet Chocolatier. So I got myself a cookies and cream bar, and man, I almost just passed out right there in the lobby because it was like heaven. You know, it was just so good, man. I was like, ooh, man, oh yeah. Red Dead Redemption 2 is good and all, but ain't got nothing on the Gourmet Chocolatier's, cookies and cream chocolate bar.
No doubt, man. Well, hey, let me ask you a question, Senior Bull. Is my internet here accurate, or do we not have a lot of people in the house tonight?
Oh man, yeah, it looks like probably guys are out there, like you said, playing Red Dead, watching this and that. We out there watching. I mean, did you just tell me like House of Cards dropped or something like that?
It did. It jumped out this past weekend, man.
I just sent out some more invites, but I think I know where you're going with it, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Why don't you, if you guys can, just go ahead and share the video, man. Let's get some more people in here, more people in from the Legion of Love, man. We know everybody's out there having fun, hopefully not playing in any crazy Guy Fawkes level kind of things. But, man, like you said, we're talking about the Daytona Beach Comic-Con.
Absolutely, man. So a couple other great folks we got to meet out there. Back at the Space Coast Comic-Con, we hooked up with Bob Dixon, who was a super cool guy out there. He gave us some copies of his great book that he did, and he introduced us to a fellow author, Jamie Angle, who, man, when I saw her out there, I lost my marbles. She was dressed up as what she called Martina McFly, her own Marty McFly 2015 costume that was so baller. As some of you Legion of Love fans might know, I dressed up like that on 2015's Halloween, so I was super excited about that. And we were trying desperately to grab an interview with her, and she was so friendly and so charismatic and so fun, man. And we just we got so wrapped up in other stuff, we were never able to make it back out there. But I did post earlier today her appearance on a local CW morning news show. So you guys can check it out and see about her book and her inspiring work, because her book is actually a novel that talks about bullying and teaches kids that they're how did she put it? She has a great way of saying it, that you could either build worlds with your words or you can destroy people and tear them down. And she's trying to educate kids to do that. So it's an anti-bullying book, you know, and she has a lot of other books and a lot of other stuff, you know. Link to her page and to that video is in our page, so head over there and check it out, guys.
Yeah, very, very cool interview, you know, and definitely next time we're in the house, you know, we are definitely going to score an interview with Jamie. She's so nice, man. We had so much fun talking to her. It was a great weekend all in all, man. We just got to see a lot of our old friends we've met, you know, since the last con, but also got to meet some other awesome, interesting folks as well.
No doubt, man. And what really kind of blew us away and we got wrapped up into for pretty much the whole rest of the day that we were out there, man, was the indie takeover.
Oh yeah, man. You know, like we said, we're here. We're repping the indie advocates, man. You know, that's you know, if you guys don't know about indie advocates, you got to go check them out. We'll definitely be posting some links in the Legion of Love and also in down in the comments. But man, you know, Rob Andersin, Mr. Andersin, you know, he's a comic book creator, but man, it's not just about Mr. Andersin, man. He's out to help everybody. He want the indies, you know, that's what it's all about, man. These guys, the independents, you know, we all love the big names and stuff like that, but man, there's just so many great stories out there that you can read about in these indie books, and a lot of times the only ways that they have to fund them is to do like a Kickstarter and get the word out there, and you know, Mr. Andersin, like that's what he does through indie advocates and just keeping everybody up to date with everything indie.
Absolutely, man. You know, because like you said, a lot of these guys are either hitting Kickstarter or they're at every single con trying to connect with as many people as they can and sell that book one-on-one. You know, so it's, you know, a lot of people don't realize there's kind of a big monopoly when it comes to the distribution of comics, but that's why we end up in what Mr. Andersin has declared is a reboot culture, where if we look at Hollywood and even our mainstream comics, we're getting the same stories kind of retold. Maybe a few subtle changes to characters, they're a little bit updated, but it's the same stuff all the time. But when you start talking to these indie creators and they're like, I have this idea that's completely different. I mean, you guys know, you joined us in August when we talked to 4 different artists who had 4 completely different styles of books and 4 wild stories that were all amazing, you know? Not to mention the countless other interviews we've done throughout our con experiences and on the show of people who've just come up with really unique, really original ideas, you know? And what Indie Advocates does is it tries to connect people with those ideas, you know, because there's just so much saturating the internet, television, you know, our phones, that it's hard to connect people with the things that they like. And we're talking to Rob and we're like, dude, that's like exactly why we started doing our show. So we want to tell people about the things that we love that we think you guys don't know about.
Exactly.
So if you guys like what we do, you got to check out Indie Advocates. If you're a comic book fan, man, you're going to go out there and you're going to find some really cool stuff that you really love. I got to say, the first day I was on there and I checked out all of his promotions for different Kickstarters, I think I spent like $75 in like, you know, a day buying all these cool indie books. And I was like, well, I got to slow down here. But well, it's very cool.
And like you said, while Indie Advocates, you know, you could check that out all the time for Daytona Beach Comic-Con, Rob's whole plan was to bring the indie takeover, you know, to the panel room. Like, you know, a lot of times, you know, there'll be various panels and stuff at the conventions and stuff. Well, this year it was at this event, it was all about the indies. There was just, I mean, well, there was probably at least, like 8 different, like, indie artists and writers and stuff there who were there showing off their materials and stuff that they've put together. And it was great. And it was so nice to get to talk to them and find out where they were coming from with those characters and creations. It was really cool.
Yeah, absolutely, man. There was so many creators just in one area that were all independent. I see Justin K just joined us, man. I hope you caught the beginning. Our salute to the United States Marine Corps, man. Thank you for your service. Jason T, man, what's up? Hey, guys, I see you out there, man. Guys, feel free to share the video. We don't know where everybody's at tonight. We think they're out celebrating the 5th of November, Guy Fawkes style, having some fireworks, man. But we're glad you guys are joining us here now tonight. And we got to say, man, this indie takeover was so cool, right? We met up with some creators who were able to showcase their work in these panels, like Senior Bowl was saying. And we've been to a lot of cons. We've been to MegaCon. We've been to the big cons, man. We've been to small cons. We've been to backyard cons, you know. I don't think I've ever been to a more informative panel than the ones we went to this weekend.
They were great, man. Like, I mean, just getting to talk to the folks beforehand, I knew it was going to be a treat. But once we sat down in those seats, man, and we were viewing it as like an audience member.
Yes,
man, that was just so great to take all that in. Like, it was awesome.
And it was like I did not want to leave. Like,
yes,
we knew we had talked to other people. We're like, we're gonna come see you. We're gonna come do an interview. We're gonna come check out your booth and stuff. But man, once they started telling us about their experiences creating comics and telling us like why it's important to get an editor and how to get test pages from an artist you're trying to hire and how to build your social network, it was just so informative. And all of these guys had cut their teeth kind of the hard way.
Yeah,
it sounded like they had all busted their chops, lost a lot of money, and they were just so happy to help the people there answer questions and tell us how to do it right. So if you've ever been thinking about making a comic, man, there's no better time than if you're watching this show right now to link up with Indie Advocates, link up with Rob Andersin and all the network that he has of the amazing, talented creators, and they'll help guide you right down the right path, man, and help you avoid so many pitfalls and mistakes. And I mean, we learned so much. It was amazing. And the other panel they had was about comics for the classroom, where they discussed the educational value within comics, which really opened my eyes because, I asked a question in there where I said, well, how do you compare comic books to the literary value of books? And basically throughout the course of all the answers, that was the wrong question to ask. The question that I should have been asking was, what value does a comic by itself bring? Because it's so wholly different than a literary work, because you could read Shakespeare and stuff, but you don't really get a lot of social graces out of that. You're not going to learn how to talk to people in a modern day setting, but a comic book will. It'll show you social interactions, facial expressions, body language, movements. It shows people what you're thinking in one box and what they say in another. That shows you how to filter yourself. There's so many different skills that you learn from comics than from a novel or a literary work that both are immensely and equally valuable. So it's a fascinating, informative panel. We do actually have a copy of the Indie Creator panel on our page.
Yes.
Right? Rob was nice enough to say, hey, if the Power Hour fans want a special on this panel, they've got it. Feel free to set up camera and film the whole thing. We did just for you guys. I think it's about an hour long, but you will learn so much about creating comics, guys. It's super cool. You got to check it out.
Oh, yeah, man, definitely. And, when you want to talk about creating comics, man, I see we're being joined by Mr. Shawn Barber down there. You want to talk about someone who knows how to put together an awesome comic? Absolutely, man. Welcome, Shawn. And definitely, we did see your comments while we were out there at the Daytona Beach. Trust me, at some point, the Indie Advocates, Travis Gibb, Rob Andersin, Shawn Barber, the whole gang, man. We're gonna have to do like our own mega meetup. There you go, mega meetup. I almost slipped there.
We'll make our own little Super Friends team.
There you go. There you go. Unite.
But we did see the noir comic that Travis had for Broke Down and 4 Dead Bodies.
Yes.
Super awesome, man. And yeah, that's really cool. Like, so you inked the piece in the back of Broke Down and 4 Dead Bodies. I don't think I specifically looked at that, man.
We were Travis was kind of flipping through and showing us what, because he said, oh, you guys will see this when you get your copies are coming, but he was showing that off that he actually had the comic there, which was really cool, where people could pick it up and check it out. And he was also helping, being that Rob Andersin was moderating everything and doing an excellent job, I might add. Just so great. He was helping also tell folks about Mr. Anderson's books. So definitely great job, Travis.
Yeah, but we did get to see David Byrne, who created The Couch, was out there.
Yes.
I know Dorfis Jean we met up with. She created the first Haitian-American superhero. We've got an interview with her on our page. Terrence Baker, who's the founder of ICC. You can check out an interview with him. We got Alfred Page, an interview with him, and his espionage action book called Chess. That's a team team book. You know, you don't see a lot of indie creators taking on a whole team.
Yeah.
But he took on the challenge, man. So check out those interviews on our pages, guys. I'm sure you'll find some comics here that you really like and connect with some fun stuff, guys. So super cool. Had a fabulous time. Thank you to everyone who hung out with us and spent some time with us. Thank you so much to Rob Andersin for hooking us up with an amazing time, some free swag. I mean, you can't beat it. The guy's a saint, you know.
Oh, you know it.
He may be Mr. Andersin.
Yeah.
He's a saint.
And yeah, like you said, definitely thanks to all the other indie artists that welcomed us with open arms, and definitely, you know, they liked what we were putting out, so they were having some fun with us too. So that was just so great. And of course, you know, we got to thank Tom for, you know, putting on, you know, Daytona Beach Comic Con.
Throw some love for Tom.
Oh, absolutely, love for all these guys. But yeah, definitely, Tom, you're always so good to us at the Power Hour, man. And we hope you get to check this out and enjoy, you know, us chatting about everything that we enjoyed about the show.
Yeah, because that's kind of how they reap their rewards, you know, is to hear how much people enjoyed it. And guys, we had an amazing time. So thank you all so much.
I like Jason T's guy. He's like, sounds like you guys had a blast in Daytona. Oh yeah, man. That's definitely, you know, it was a blast. But man, you know, like we said, man, there's so many great indie books out there. We wanted to take some time tonight to tell you guys about an indie book that you should definitely check out. It's on Kickstarter right now, but they only got a couple more days to get this funded.
8 days left, right?
Yeah.
They're counting down the last week, man. And, you know, they actually hit us up and said, hey, man, you know, like we're 8 days out. You know, and they just hashtagged their book, hashtag I Need a Miracle, you know, and they're like, well, what can you do? So we said, you know what? The Power Hour Love is going to throw some love out there for you, man. We're going to tell people about your book. So they have the following casework. Right?
Yes. This is by Jack Holder, who's also an advocate. You know, he's part of the Indie Advocates. So definitely it kind of goes in, you know, I'm sure we can go with the links there, but we will also throw down a link directly to the Kickstarter page. Like El Bandito said, only 8 more days and they still need help. Like they say they need a miracle. So hopefully the Legion of Love will be able to help out. We're going to throw down some of the great options they have here where you guys can help out. You know, for $3, you guys will get a PDF copy of the comic here, the following casework. Also, if you wanted more, if you're more of someone that wants to, you know, hold it in your hand style, you know, you could pay $15 and get a print copy, but then you also get a copy of their comic dealing with the apocalypse. And I mean, you know, you always see these shows and these and these movies and games and stuff about, you know, what's going on in the, you know, I want a book that's going to tell me how to deal with the apocalypse.
Exactly. You know? How do I survive? Because a lot of movies are just like, yeah, you're probably going to die.
yeah, pretty much, you know. You know, for $20, it's the digital bundle. If you're one of those cats that run around with their iPads or digital tablets and they like to read all this stuff on there, for $20, you get 7 different books, and of course, including the core title, but then also 6 other awesome stories as well. So that's a pretty cool deal. A little higher up there, you know, you got the $30 deal, which you get the comic and a T-shirt. I mean,
it's always fun to rep a shirt.
Absolutely, man. You know, I mean, it's one thing to read it, and then it's like, all right, man, I'm gonna like wear this tomorrow, man. And then people are gonna say, hey, man, what's that all about? And then you can say, man, you gotta go check out this comic, man. It's good stuff, man. So it all runs together. But this one, I wanted to throw out there. You know, because I think anytime we're talking to these comic creators and Kickstarters, I love this option. Well, can you read it out, Bandito?
Oh, absolutely, man. It's a little pricey, right? It's the pricey option, but it's the bang for your buck option. For $150, you can be drawn into the next comic. So you get your own personal appearance in the following casework.
I have to say, man, like, I don't know if we wanted to save this for a surprise, but aren't you actually going to be in an upcoming comic? Because
dude, I literally bought that during the show. Remember, like when we were talking to Mark Darden, and he was doing the Guano Guy book, and we were reading through his Kickstarter options, and I was like, I am buying that right now. You know,
absolutely,
because you're supposed to like you're kidnapped.
Yes.
Like, I'm kidnapped by somebody. And I was like, that's awesome. I want to be kidnapped and probably not saved by Guano Guy.
Well, I can't wait to see how that turns out. Oh, but I could see in the comments we're being joined by Tom himself from the Daytona Beach Comic-Con. Go ahead, man. Throw up some love for Tom.
We'll throw you a little more love, man. We were throwing you some love earlier, Tom. Again, thank you so much for inviting us, for hosting us out there, man. You're a true gentleman. Thank you so much for all the efforts and for all the fun time, man, because we had an absolute blast. I also want to give a shout-out to Aurelia out there. I think that's how you say that. Hanging out with us on Twitch, man.
Oh, yeah.
Throwing out the love, and just back to the following casework. So
wow.
Thank you so much.
Awesome, man. That is so great, and that's exactly what they need. You know, they definitely need us going out there, and let's make that miracle happen. You know what I mean? It definitely, we can do it.
I know. My first instinct is to be like, let's throw it up on the screen behind us, and I'll back it right now, but it's going to show all my credit card stuff, but I'm not going to do that. But we're definitely going to jump on there. We're going to back it, man. We're going to buy some cool stuff. We hope you guys can too. We hope we can get them the miracle that they need. So
I got to say, man, I don't know, El Bandito, if you throw that information up there, I think the Legion would get even larger. You know, you might get a couple of those guys in those Guy Fawkes masks showing up.
I think our show would get larger because there'd be like 8 people who are suddenly me, you know? At least on paper, right?
Oh, wait, then we could actually have a council of banditos.
Oh, there you go. Well, oh, look, Aurelia says I said it right. Awesome. I'm the bestest.
There you go,
Everyone
man.
else is number 2 or lower.
I know that's one thing we always try to nail is, you know, when we're talking to folks in interviews and stuff, you know, we want to make sure we say their name correctly.
Absolutely. That's why my favorite interview of the whole day was talking to Terrence Baker, and he had his name written on his own shirt. And I was like, dude, that is handy as hell for doing interviews. I like that.
and I got to say, man, just because, you know, the room that they had everyone set up in for the indie takeover was just so cool how it was like circular and like you kind of just got to kind of get the lay of the land and talk to everybody as you kind of went through. But, man, you know, once we started doing some interviews in there, man, it was like shotgun style, man. Everybody was like, man, let's get on in, man. We got to get, you know, and that's great because that's what we're there for. You know, we love to provide that, you know, on the scene coverage and getting to know these creators, and of course, you know, getting the word out there for Tom and his whole crew at the Daytona Beach Comic-Con.
Absolutely, man. So super fun time. Thanks again to everyone. Glad everyone seems like they're having some fun out there, man. But if Aurelia tuned in tonight to check out some video game action hanging with us out there on Twitch, man, you won't be disappointed. Coming up right after our news, we're going to rock out our picks for the hottest games coming out fall of 2018.
Oh, man, there's some really good ones, and we can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about some of these.
Absolutely, man. But we did put some links in the comments to Indie Advocates, so you can check that out. We did put a link out here to the following casework, so you can go and check them out. So, you know, make sure to spread the love, guys. That's what we're here for.
You know it, man. You know it. Now, I see some people saying we need to match more often, El Bandito.
You know, like that?
I usually go for the blue. He goes for the red. You know, it's kind of like the Contra style.
It is. You know?
All right, man. We ready to get into some PoDunk news?
Let's do it before we start flashing red and yellow.
Oh, yeah.
PoDunk News.
All right, man. It's one of my favorite times during the show where we get to talk about some of the crazy stories that's going on out there in this PoDunk world that we all know and love. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. And we got some real wild stories. Maybe not as crazy as some of the stories we've had the past couple weeks, but definitely ones that we really want to get your guys' opinion on. So as we throw out these stories, please throw some comments down below and let us know what you guys think about what we're chatting about.
Absolutely. And we're going to start things off with a little bit of leftovers from Halloween. We're talking about the Call of Cthulhu, the official video game.
Oh, yeah, man. I know some people are probably sitting back saying, man, they bring this game out like 16 years ago. It was on like the original Xbox or something. Well, that was like, you know, Into the Darkness or something like that. You know, I had like some other subtitle. This is like Call of Cthulhu, the official game.
Yeah, I have to say, as far as the subtitle goes, not a great one. Just saying the official video game. It's kind of like if we came on here and we're like, yeah, we're the Power Hour of Love, the bestest podcast ever. You're like, who are you trying to convince, man? It's probably not that official.
Oh, man, yeah, all about the love, baby.
I know, I shouldn't hate.
But, man, you know, I know we have played some great Cthulhu Cthulhu games, in the RPG form, in the board game form, in the LARP form. I know we're really showing our nerd colors there, but hey, we have fun with it. We like the mythology behind
Heck
it.
yeah.
But a lot of people out there, this game's getting good reviews. Like from IGN and all those other guys, they're like, oh no, it's really cool. It's neat. It's first person, very immersive, scary. But a lot of players are saying, man, the Cthulhu thing the mythos just ain't doing it for him anymore.
It's getting worn out.
It's been so oversaturated. Like almost every game that comes out will have some sort of, Cthulhu variant or something.
Yeah.
So I just know a lot of people are getting tired of the great old ones. It's like they want them to go to sleep again or something.
Well, I got to say, man, look, I picked a green one, so my green screen's greening it out, but I've got my Devil's Trap that I got out there from Paul at the Savior Impala up there at the Daytona Beach Comic-Con, man. And even Supernatural has featured H.P. Lovecraft and stories by him. So, I mean, H.P. Lovecraft has gotten around, man. Cthulhu's been on South Park. It is kind of getting super saturated, but why is that a bad thing?
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad thing, man.
I mean, hey, we would not have Arkham Asylum if it wasn't for Arkham and HP, or at least that's where it's based on. Of course, well, no, there is an Arkham Asylum in Arkham Horror as well. So there you go.
Well, dude, I gotta say, man, what's funny to me is like I think that people are just upset because in the official video game, from what I hear, you can't play as Ashcan Pete.
Oh.
That's like my jam.
I know you need Duke, right? You need your little your dog Duke to come around.
Like mutt-looking, shaggy dog he found in the garbage or something.
Well, if Shawn Barber and some of if Chris Hall's out there, I know these guys have read some Lovecraft, and I'm sure a lot of the other Legion of Love have as well.
Yeah.
You guys let us know. Has Cthulhu mythos become like too much, too mainstream? Is it not indie enough for you? Let us know. Let us know what you think. Like, are you going to check this game out? Do you like games like this where they're like not just like, oh my gosh, a zombie's coming, where it's like more like you see some really messed up stuff and you got to almost like balance your psyche. Your sanity could be going.
It's more like a psychological thriller than it is an action game. I know Aurelia says she's hyped for this game, man. Katie D out there says she thinks LARPing, H.P. Lovecraft is awesome. So.
Oh, there you go. There you go. No, we definitely did have a lot of fun when we were doing that.
Heck yeah, man. That was a blast.
And I see
I got to be the president.
Yes, the House of Reanimator.
Yeah.
And it's a shame we didn't have all the filming stuff that we have now. I think that would have been some really good footage. But Shawn Barber.
Is there an unofficial game? That's the one that we made back in 2003.
Yes, yeah. There some definitely crazy times there. But yeah, like we said, if you guys are stoked to check it out, definitely run through it. Let us know what you think, man. We're always telling you what we think. You guys let us know. Should the Power Hour check out Call of Cthulhu, the official video game?
Absolutely, man. We may have to do a playthrough and review on that one.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't done one of those in a while. All right, well, next up on the agenda, man, you've got some news about The Walking Dead. What's going on there? I know I'm not all caught up.
I know.
So I'm going to take my headphones off for the story, man.
Well, like I said, we always really like to not shed into spoilers here.
Yeah.
But, we're going to try to keep this as spoiler-free as we can. But as a lot of folks know that maybe don't even still watch The Walking Dead, this season has been marked as Andrew Lincoln's final final run.
Yeah.
So everyone kind of just figured that, okay, maybe the final episode, he would be checking out. Well, no, it turns out that last Sunday night, I'm not going to get into the specifics, but even on all the promotional, it was like Rick Grimes' final episode. Yeah. Which, it was. Yeah. We'll stop there. We won't say anything else about the episode.
So the actor has departed the series.
Yes.
So we won't say anything about the character, but the actor is finished.
Yes, but the only thing now AMC has announced is maybe it's not so final because Andrew Lincoln has been signed on to do 3 full-length movies.
Oh, feature-length films
that are set in the Walking Dead mythos.
Nice,
we'll leave it at that. So,
but
they're going to air on AMC, so they won't be in the theaters. But I mean, geez, some of those AMC shows, man, they're practically mini movies in themselves.
Yeah, no doubt. They're not skimping on quality over there at AMC. So.
Oh, I like not to roll back, but Shawn Barber saying, "No, Cthulhu's finally getting the recognition he deserves."
No doubt. Because what do they always say? Satan may want your soul. Cthulhu thinks you're just a snack.
There you go. There you go.
He's a badass, man.
Oh, yeah.
But talking about someone who probably wanted a bit more than just a snack, man, we got to talk about what went down this past weekend up at BlizzCon, right? So Blizzard has been putting it out that they had some big Diablo news coming, and a bunch of people got super psyched, ran up to BlizzCon, and wanted to hear all about it. Obviously, Diablo 3's been out for a number of years now.
Oh, yeah.
There's been a couple expansions and things like that, but everyone was waiting to hear about a brand new Diablo 4 game or a brand new expansion for Diablo 3 at the very least. Instead, the audience was treated to a very exciting, very well-made cinematic trailer for a mobile game. This did not sit well with audiences up at BlizzCon. The Shawn Barber's already like, boo, boo, what a Testaburger. But no, dude. This did not sit well with people. They literally got like booing and jeering at the event.
And I mean, their fans are like, they're diehard.
Yeah, exactly. So check this out, Senior Bull, right? They put out that cinematic trailer the same day as BlizzCon. Here it is 3 days later. The video's been viewed by only about 3 million people.
Oh, wow.
Right? But it has 16,000 likes.
Oh,
16,000 likes out of 3 million people. Right, 450,000 dislikes.
Wow!
I mean, that is staggering. I don't think I've ever seen a YouTube video that universally hated.
I mean, it's one of those things where you almost feel bad for these game developers that are doing this, where you're kind of like, man, they I mean, who knows where they're at with the project, but still, it's like, oh man, but yeah, people don't want it. It's
I'm serious. Well, you know what it is, dude? Like, not to put too much of a sting on it, but it's like all your workday stuff that you do at work, and then people just shit on it, So it's like, these people's workday is filled with doing all this Diablo stuff, and then people show up, take one look at it, and immediately shit on it, and don't appreciate any of the freaking work you did. And that sucks, man, because these poor mobile guys probably worked their asses off to make a cool-ass mobile game.
Sure, man. No, absolutely. Regardless of what you do for a job, when you do stuff and it's not received to the level that you would expect, it's just one of those things where it's disheartening, but at the same time you got to listen to your audience.
Well, the person to blame here is really Blizzard for teasing this kind of announcement like it was going to be a big Diablo thing, and then making a huge presentation out of it and then being like, oh, it's a mobile game. You're like, wow, dude, you really led your fans down a path. So they kind of set themselves up for failure on that one. But hopefully that's a lesson that they'll learn and other game developers will learn from, and we won't see that happen again. I mean, you can look through YouTube and find all the E3s and find how people totally shot themselves in the foot over the years. And, you learn from it and you move on. But it was just, it's been a month. It's been a couple of weeks for like crazy cons. We're glad that we went to an awesome con and had a super ton of fun there. But
there was no booing going on at the Daytona Beach Comic-Con.
No, heck no. We actually stopped at one point. We said like, man, this con, the Space Coast Comic-Con as well. Like, we go to these cons that are put on by these awesome folks, and you never hear anyone bitching. I can't remember the last place I went to besides one of these cons where people don't complain about something, But, when you go to concerts a lot, there's always people complaining and stuff. But, man, just everyone seems to be having a great time at these cons, man.
You know it, man. Well, hopefully they'll either be able to salvage or they'll go back and start working on Diablo 4 like everyone seems to want. So we'll just have to see where that goes.
Oh, man. Shawn Barber's like, how are you going to have a legit team of developers on a mobile game?
Absolutely, man. So what's next?
Oh, okay, wait, look, this is cool. Justin K just threw in here, they skinned a Chinese mobile game for what the whales to spend cash on.
Oh, man.
Oh, man, okay, I thought that was going somewhere else. They said that actually there's a developer who was, like, making things that were comparable to Diablo, and Blizzard had to come in and tell them to stop because they were kind of like, you're treading in our waters here. But they hired that company to kind of work on their mobile game stuff. So a lot of the diehard fans are like, you guys were totally dumping on these people and telling them they couldn't work on stuff, and now you want us to have a game from them that used to be kind of a not. It's a bizarre situation, man. But hey, let's not get too hung up on Diablo, man. It's called Diablo Immortal. It sounds like it's already dead. Let's move on.
Absolutely, yeah. Talk about immortal.
Oh man. So the first contender, why don't you tell us all about him, Senior Boy?
Oh man, yeah. So this kind of took Twitter Instagram. I'm sorry, by storm earlier today, man. Like John Cena has teased that he may possibly be the next person to pick up the Cap's shield.
Yeah, man, that sounds pretty wild. I mean, John Cena definitely looks like he ate a Captain America. You know, that guy is huge, bro. So I kind of see the look of it. I've never really seen a lot of John Cena on film anywhere. I don't know how good of an actor he really is. I mean, there's a lot of depth to the character of Captain America. So
Sure. Well, yeah, I mean, I know way back in the day he had like that Marine movie and stuff, and he's been in a couple comedies and stuff like that. But, I mean, he definitely has the physique. And a lot of people have said that they're wondering if he's not so much going to take on the role of Steve Rogers, but maybe like, U.S. agent or something, like one of the other people that actually, at one point or another wore the mantle of Captain America.
I got you.
So, it's kind of cool. The only thing is a lot of Marvel fans that are kind of like, almost like, what do you mean? Like, the other guy may leave. Like, that ain't never happening. Like, they've said they looked back in his Instagram, and I guess earlier this year, he had teased that he may be playing Dr. Manhattan in the upcoming HBO series. So it's like, they, it's one of those things where everyone's like, well, who knows how much water it holds?
Yeah, no doubt. I don't know. I just can't see him as Captain America.
Oh, look, I think Shawn Barber's like, no, just no.
Oh, Jason T, man, he beat me to it. He says you won't be able to see him. Did you get that? I can't see him as Captain America. There you go.
You can't.
I should have done
me.
the thing. There you go.
There you go. Well, there we go. Well, so far the Legion of Love doesn't seem too happy with the possibility of Cena taking up the Cap's mantle.
Like I said, he looks right, but we'll have to see where his acting chops are at, because even The Rock coming into play Black Adam. Black Adam is a very complicated character, but The Rock has spent several years working on his acting and stuff like that and perfecting that craft. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I think he's definitely ready to kind of jump into something with that sort of weight to it. But with John Cena, it's like, okay, well, be careful, dude. Don't take on too much, and then you'll be like shut out as an actor forever,
Absolutely, man. No, we'll have to see where that all goes, or if this is just one of those little blips.
Captain America, the Invisible Soldier. I like it.
It's awesome.
All right, man. So I want to tell you guys a little bit about the CW Elseworlds, man. Last week we mentioned that Jensen Ackles from Supernatural fame, he plays Dean Winchester over there. He stopped by the Flash's Elseworlds set, and people got super amped because a lot of people remember Jensen Ackles did a fabulous job lending his voice to the Red Hood in the animated film Batman Under the Red Hood, right? So Jensen Ackles, people have been like, dude, this guy needs to play the Red Hood if he ever appears in any sort of live action form. I mean, he's a phenomenal actor. He's in great shape. He looks the part. He crushed it on the voice acting part. So he shows up to the set of Elseworlds that they know Batwoman is going to be at, and people started losing their marbles, man. They were super psyched. So I have to say, he is apparently continuing to fan those flames of fan theories out there by going on and posting this on his Twitter, right, which is him in the Halloween episode of Supernatural that aired last week, where he's in a comic book shop and he meets a mannequin that's dressed like the Red Hood.
There you go.
And I was like, that's awesome, man. So, of course, his character on the show says nothing about it, right? Like, basically ignores it. So it was super fun. But if that wasn't bad enough, right, he follows that up a day or two later on Halloween by posting this. Now, this is a primo badass Red Hood costume. If you notice, it's even better than the costume that's here.
Yes.
Like, my first thought was like, dude, I wonder if that's someone wearing that same costume. So, but you're like, no, this is like a primo costume.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm like, oh, dude, this is really dope. So I'm checking out these pictures out here, kind of reading what he wrote, and I'm like, bro, this is Jensen Ackles. This is what he wore for Halloween.
That's awesome, man. It's kind of funny. Like, you wonder with like all the contracts and stuff like that. I mean, I know CW is like owned by Warner Brothers and stuff like that. But it's almost like you wonder if he has to get permission to even, but he's just in a Halloween costume, like you said. But at the same time, it could be, the whole John Cena thing with the shield. Like, just it gets people talking, gets us talking.
No doubt, man. Well, I have to say, I think it's going to get some execs at CW talking that if they ever actually do pull off any Red Hood stuff, they're like, this is the guy. He bought his own costume? Yeah, let's get him, dude. This guy is so psyched about it. So it's kind of like, hey, I don't know, it's kind of your move, CW. He sounds like he's in. And I have to say, this is actually his quote that he put on his Twitter page for the photo. Feels good. Real good.
Absolutely. Man.
So I'm like, that's awesome, man. But he seems like a super fun guy. Looks like a great kind of Halloween cosplay, because this isn't just a Halloween costume. This is like some next level stuff.
Yeah.
Really nice. Shawn Barber, I love it. Time to slice and dice. The episode of Supernatural for Halloween, they actually have a ghost that possesses a mannequin of a serial killer who's like a Jason slasher flick guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's someone they made up for the show. But the actors in the show, or the characters in the show, they've grown up watching these horror films, and now the guys come to life for real. So it's a lot of fun. It's cool. But that's his catchphrase: "Time to slice and dice."
Oh, awesome, man! No, I really do need to sit down and watch that show. I know it's been on for 14 years, so I got a lot of catching up to do. But whenever I hear you guys talking about it, I'm like, oh man, this does sound pretty cool.
I'm surprised, because it is definitely right up your alley, because you're such a horror fan. And this taps into every segment of horror everywhere, but in a very fun rock and roll way. And since you're such a rock and roll guy, I'm like, yeah, man, this is like,
it's right in there.
Yeah, East meets West in the battle.
There you go, man. All right, so what's up next?
All right, next up, man, we're going to talk about some local love. That's right. We're going to tell you guys about a local event going on in our backyard where you just might find the Power Hour love hanging out.
Oh, yeah, man. I know this was actually dropped in there by one of our Legion of Love members.
Absolutely. Justin K. threw this our way last week, so we're happy to tell you guys about the Treasure Coast Brewfest 2018, man. This is happening November 10th, so I think that's what, this Saturday?
Yep.
Yeah. It's going down at Tradition Square in Port St. Lucie. It's going to be in the outdoor Tradition Square area, so it's like the big field and everything out there. So it's really, really nice, gorgeous kind of area that they built to kind of look like almost like a 1950s sort of town.
Oh yeah, yeah, a little town square, like all the, and a lot of space too, though, so you're not like too cramped.
How quaint.
But yeah, I do know that just general admission just to walk around is free. But if you want to partake in the actual beer tasting, that is $35.
Which isn't bad, depending on how many beers you get to taste.
I know
they haven't really announced that yet, because I know vendors could cancel or whatever. But I'm guessing for $35, it's a fair amount. You're gonna probably get 4 or 5.
Oh, totally, man. Well, I know I think they said, like, as far as availability goes, I think it was somewhere in like the 300 or something. Like not that many but they have so many different varieties.
Yeah, like I think it's 300 varieties of beers from somewhere in about 50 breweries, but we don't know if that 35 is like, it's not going to be all 300, trust me, but it's probably $35 and you get a coupon for so many, but then they probably cut you off. That's probably the logic there. It's like, you can't pay $70 and drink 18 beers and start a fight,
Well, like you said, man, $35 is a great price for as much as you're going to get to party down. But in addition to honoring, the veterans with Beer Fest, all the proceeds are going to Operation 300, Molly's House, and the Snook and Game Fish Foundations. I guess it's going to be like divided up. So there you go, man. Yeah. Money's going to a good cause, and you get to go out and have a great time.
Absolutely, man. I love how Jason T just tagged Mr. Fusion.
Oh,
he's like, where you at, bro? This is like your thing.
Perfect.
So yeah, this sounds like a lot of fun, guys, man. If you're out in the Port St. Lucie area, this is definitely something to head out there and check out. Should be a nice afternoon.
Absolutely, man. Oh, so is it time for our other favorite part of the news?
I think this is slowly becoming like my favorite part of the show. We're going to do the headlines. This is the rapid fire part of the news where we're just going to give you the headlines to some of the latest and greatest stories that are just too big and you probably heard already. So we're just going to give you the headlines and move on.
You know it. Oh, I like what Justin K said down there. He said, make sure you get yourself an Uber if you're going to the Beer Fest. Yeah. Absolutely. Because let me tell you what, you might want to run in to Justin K, at the Beer Fest partying, but a couple of his buddies definitely don't want to catch you later on.
Yeah. You don't want to run into Justin K on the way home, and you shouldn't be.
No.
But yeah, get yourself a DD. Be safe out there, guys.
Absolutely.
All right. So first up, man, Super Mario's namesake and property developer Mario Segal has died at the age of 84, man. So a lot of people didn't know that Super Mario is actually named after a real person, and the developers of the game at the time worked in a complex that he was part of the property management for. And Mario came in and totally railed them one day and was like, yeah, you're late on your pay, and blah, blah, blah. And, it was the day that they were working out Donkey Kong's sort of protagonist, and they had settled on the look and design of the character, but not really a name. So when the guy came in and was so tough and so cool, and his name was Mario, they were like, and he was a contractor, so they were like, "Yeah, that's the guy. That's the guy we want people to think of when they think of this game." And he's always been a very private person. This I think they say is literally the only photo of him in all the internet.
Really?
So, pretty personal guy. But yeah, caps off to him and having a part of that Mario legacy. Very cool. So rest in peace on that.
Absolutely, man. I had no clue. I just figured Miyamoto was like, oh, Mario, that sounds weird. That's just so cool that there's a story even behind the name.
Probably just Googled,
He was like, let's go. Give me your money.
No doubt, man. So next up, we're talking about...
Oh, man, the thing on everybody's lips when Halloween time rolls around. Everyone's like, Stranger Things. And it is a great show. I've only watched the first season, so no spoilers on that. But, of course, breakout star Millie Bobby Brown plays 11 on the show. Definitely will be back for season 3. And she has announced that she will be making $350,000 an episode. Woo. Now, I don't know if I'd go around telling people that, but I mean, that's awesome, though, for her being so young.
Yeah.
And I'm sure this show will have a cutoff because eventually the kids will get they'll start rolling into the 90s, which I guess they could still do it, but it's more that 80s nostalgia kind of thing. But yeah, definitely her and Winona Ryder and the dude who's going to play Hellboy, because he's on that show. They're all matched at $350,000 an episode.
Wow, man. Yeah, that's pretty wild. I see Justin K down there is asking if Mario did he die destitute, knowing Nintendo's cheap ass over there. I have to say, from the stories I read, it sounded like he had no interest in participating in what Nintendo was doing, and they may have said something to him, they may not have, but it wasn't really addressed in any of the stories I read. But it did sound like this guy was very private, so it sounded like he didn't want to have anything to do with that. But they do say that he was a very successful contractor in Seattle. So, it sounded like he had a good, happy life. So,
well, definitely, man. Well, definitely, you said, rest in peace.
Yeah, and look at that. Aurelia says she's set for life, man. Save that money for college, Millie.
Absolutely. And we're sprinkling in some video game stuff here in the news and stuff like that, but we're gonna have tons of video game stuff right after these next few headlines.
No doubt, guys. All right, so we're talking the world's largest emerald, a 5,655 carat emerald that's as big as a human hand, has been discovered in Zambia, Africa. Now, a lot of people are wondering if that's Zambezi, Africa, and if this is actually kryptonite, because it totally looks like.
I mean, look at that, man. Wow. I bet you that's worth like one Millie Bobby Brown episode right there.
Yeah, one hour of her time, But
that's what she's going to expect on her ring when somebody
proposes. Yeah, they're like, that's part of your salary, right? But yeah, so they posted this photo, a bunch of scientists did, who went and, recorded this amazing find out of Zambia, Africa. And man, as soon as they posted it, people just started ripping it down and being like, kryptonite, 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 posting memes of, Henry Cavill and stuff like that. So it's been going around and it's been fun, but we figured we'd give you guys a peek at this, Kryptonian adversary thing right here.
No, that's pretty amazing, man. That thing's huge.
Yeah. I don't think they did themselves any favor by shining the light through it like that.
Yeah.
Because, we've all seen actual emeralds that look so dark and everything. So it's like, someone just beamed like a light right into it to take a cool photo. And you're like, Well, yeah, you made it look all science fiction. You know?
I know what some people are thinking.
What's that?
Oz.
It's part of the Emerald City out there.
There you go.
Just chipped a chunk off it. Now look, dude. See, you're a Wizard of Oz fan, right?
Yeah, sure.
You know,
Enjoy it.
There are episodes of Supernatural where they visit Oz.
Oh, see, there you go. I you know, me and the missus, like, we watch a lot of the CW shows together, and I know she, you know, she does enjoy, or she did at one point, she was watching Supernatural.
Yeah.
So I know it wouldn't be a hard charge to, you know, get back into it.
I was going to say, like, when we were talking to Jamie Angle up there at the Daytona Beach Comic-Con, we talked about Supernatural for a little bit, her and I was like, yeah, dude, Jensen Ackles, that dude's like my wicked man crush. Like, he's just like such a good-looking guy. You know, and she's like, "Oh, I know. I tell my husband all the time, don't worry. I might run off with Jensen Ackles, but I'll come back." You know? And I told her, I said, "I don't know. That dude has money too. I wouldn't come back. I'd go if he wanted me. I'd go stay with Jensen Ackles. It's fine." But so I can imagine that. Yes, you know, your wife might be just like, "Oh yes, Supernatural." She probably finds it super easy to watch. You know,
easy on the eyes, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
Gotcha.
Man.
Even after 14 years.
Yeah, dude. It's, you know how men are. Like, we look more distinguished as we get older and more refined, good looking. You know, so they age well. They're like fine wines.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Let's move on before I get lost in it there.
I know. Well, hey, talk about shows now. I know we both definitely checked check the current show out, but we're talking about the prequel. Naomi Watts has been announced as cast for the upcoming Game of Thrones prequel.
Yes.
Now, I know a lot of Legion of Love are Game of Thrones fans, so let us know down in the comments what you think.
Yeah, absolutely, guys, because, you know, they haven't announced the character that she will play yet, but they did announce that this is taking place, 1,000 or 10,000 years or something like that?
Something like that.
Before the events of the current show. Bran the Builder is actually supposed to be featured in the show. That's how old this is. This is the guy who built the wall, right? Okay? So this is an old-time show, and she's only so far been listed as a charismatic socialite with a dark secret. Ooh. So pretty cool. But Naomi Watts, fabulous actress, man. You know her from King Kong, 22 Grams, The Ring, a number of other great films that she's done. And I'm excited to see her take part in this because she has a very, like, kind of Westeros look to her, you know?
Well, I got to say, man, just thinking about the world of Game of Thrones, a dark secret in Game of Thrones can be very bad. I think I might go back to some of that Cthulhu mythos stuff.
Exactly, yeah. She's like, I used to wear people's liver as hats. You know, that's like, that would be like normal something that you did in Game of Thrones. You know?
I loved it. I love Justin K, man.
Boobs.
No comment, boobs. No, that you know, blood, boobs. Like it has the whole Joe Bob.
Death and boobies. Right?
Yes. It has the whole countdown. Right
I hope next year we can bring that back and do the draft of Thrones again, like we did last year. We couldn't do it this year, man. No Game of Thrones.
Yeah, next year the Legion of Love. We're in.
Yeah,
on it.
we wrote our own theme song for Game of Thrones.
Yes,
it's pretty great. So, all right, last but not least, we have one awesome story here that's just for you, Justin K. So I'm glad you're sticking around, man. You can live like the survivors. That's right. The home that played a crucial role in a Season 3 episode of Star Trek The Next Generation is up for sale.
No way.
At the cool cost of $5.7 million, you can own this architect-designed and lived-in home that was featured in the episode entitled The Survivors.
Is this when the crystalline entity returned?
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not? Okay.
I don't think they had any part in this. I know that they show up to this world that's been decimated, so it might have been the crystalline entity. But this guy lives there in this house, and this is a shot from the show. Like and you see the rest of the thing around it's destitute, right? But his house and his plot is okay.
Yes.
But he's somehow using his alien powers to keep it okay.
That's right.
So even a 29-year-old show, I don't want to spoil it, but
no.
But this is a photo of the house today where you can buy it out there in California. So
that's pretty wild, man. I mean, I know Party Man Will. Sometimes we run a little too late for him, but I know he'd probably definitely be checking his bank account for this one. He's like, man, I can live like the savior.
He's like, I have $5.7 million in Red Dead Redemption. Maybe that would.
He'd probably be like, dude, I wish I had that much money in Red Dead Redemption.
I sold my horse.
I know. I just said he'd live like the saviors, not the survivors. He'd be like, I don't want to live by this like the saviors.
just putting an iron on people's faces. It's fine. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for the news, man. We're already running into the 11 o'clock hour, 10 o'clock hour
10 o'clock.
here, aren't we?
Are in the, I know it's the whole, it's the hour change thing. You just bear with us, but we got some awesome stuff to talk to you guys about games. Just in case, please stick around because there's definitely a story concerning Red Dead. Even if you haven't played it, no spoilers, but something I definitely want you to hear.
No doubt, guys. All right, we're talking games. Let's do it back in the studio.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, we're going to fire right into this, man, because you guys are rocking and rolling with us, man. Thank you guys so much. And here we go. We're talking about, boom.
The Power Hour picks. Fall 2018, the best video games coming out, man. We're going to start a little retroactive, working back from the month of October and working in to the end of the year. So first up, we're going to talk about everyone's favorite Protana man.
The Mega Man. The Megas.
So Mega Man 11 came out October 2nd. Already has an IGN score of 7.5 and a Game Informer score of 8.75. So it sounds like a pretty good game.
You know, and it's funny. I mean, definitely I want to talk about Mega Man, but as I've noticed, I was collecting data for this. Like, it always seemed to be like Game Informer and like IGN were like 10 points apart, like either one way or the other. But yeah, I love Mega Man. Like, I love the early games, you know, like they're just like platform gold, you know. It was like really the stuff that a lot of these other games are built on. And it was just it was a formula that really worked. And even though they made like 10,000 of them, because you know there's more than just, I mean, it says 11. There's more than 11 games. What did we say? There was like 90 something games in the Mega Man.
I think the concept behind kill someone, take their power to be able to kill someone else. Yes. Like that concept, that's a genius formula. You know, so you say, oh, I got to kill Scissors Man so that I can cut paper, you know, and but you know, and then I get paper's ability to cover rock, you know, whatever it is. But that's the way it goes on. That's such a great idea, and I think it's something storytelling wise that had a huge impact on me as a kid. So.
I mean, Leaves would jam a fan, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, but we all know that we're, you know, Bubble
and Spock beats everything.
Yeah.
You know?
Bubble Man was pretty useless.
Yeah. Bubble Man was that was all you did was you got to go take a bath. You know, some champagne.
That's awesome. Well, definitely, you know, the Blue Bomber's been around for a long time.
The Blue Bomber, that's perfect. Justin K is wondering if they Rule 46'd Mega Man yet.
Probably.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Dude, with a hand like that, that's like a giant.
Yeah,
you know,
no doubt. Well, you know, and it's 30 years, so, you know, even in those early days of the internet, and, you know, there's other characters in there. You know, I know he's like I think he has a girlfriend.
What's his dog? Did he have a dog named Rocket?
Rush.
That's what it was.
Well,
it would like turn into a surfboard.
Yeah, well, that was also the other thing. It was like one of the first games where you could summon an ally.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, of course, like Final Fantasy and all that, you know, but like, you know, it was a platformer where you could do that.
Yeah,
you know,
like side scroller. Yeah,
exactly. It was so cool. But yeah, man, you had Rush, and now in Japan he's known as Rockman.
Oh,
yeah, you know,
that like Mega Man's known as Rockman.
He's
not
known as Mega Man. He's known as Rockman. So,
and where is that?
In Japan.
Yeah, that's wild, man.
So you guys let us know if you're a fan of Mega Man. Throw it down. Like I said, this newer game we haven't played yet, but maybe we'll have to check it out and see how it fares to those older ones.
Do you remember the band that we saw that played Mega Man live during their performance?
Yes, that was Bit Brigade.
Bit Brigade, that's right, man. Yeah. That was cool. They had a guy who'd put on these like noise canceling headphones, right? Because he's on stage with a band, but he could beat Mega Man by the time they got to the end of their set. It was awesome. And yeah, they'd put it up on a big projector and you'd watch this guy just own. I mean, this kid was amazing.
And Bit Brigade would actually play the music that was playing in the game. So if the guy, which I don't think we ever saw him die, like when
I think we saw him die, but it was like on purpose to be able to do something else and get to a secret area or something.
Yeah. But when he died, they'd stop playing because like the music's not, you know, so like dun 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 dun. But it was just so good because they were rocking out, so there wasn't any vocals. But yeah, the whole spectacle was watching this guy play. We'll have to see if those guys are still around.
Yeah, no doubt, man. They'd be fun to go check out, man. But all right, that's October 2nd, tootheth. I guess I put tooth. So that was October tooth. But moving on to October 5th, Assassin's Creed Odyssey rolled out, man, with the first time in an Assassin's Creed game where you could choose between being a man or a woman and that your story would be impacted on the decisions that you made. So pretty exciting.
Totally, man. And now, correct me if I'm wrong, but this takes place during like the Roman times. Like that's the setting.
I'm not sure if it's Rome or if it's ancient Greece.
That's true.
I'm not sure. It might be ancient Greece.
I know we were kind of chatting with this one. I remember what Party Man, and we're like, oh man, definitely you might have to check this one out. And he was like, oh, we'll see. But like I said, then Red Dead Redemption came out. And all that. But
you're just like, nope.
But yeah, no. I mean, the one thing about these games, man, Ubisoft, like these games always look so cool. I mean, like the settings and the.
Oh, absolutely, man. I'm a huge fan of the series. I've played a number of their games. I've missed the last couple because they started putting them out like every year. And that's just hard to keep up with, man. So
Justin K just nailed that too there. He said, I'm about 5 years behind in these games.
The last one I played was Unity, which I know a lot of people hated, but I loved the multiplayer aspect of it. I got to play with Bishop. Me and him would connect online, and we'd play together. And that was super fun because he has zero stealth, aptitude. He doesn't care for it at all. So I'm planning how I'm going to kill 18 guys with no one seeing me, and he'll just run in the front door someplace. Leroy Jenkins, just totally get me caught and found, and they find me instantly, and I'm like, wow, man, thanks. But it's always a super ton of fun. I tried to look here. It's I don't see where it says if it's Greece or Rome.
If you guys know, you let us know, man. Save the power out.
Yes, live the epic odyssey of a legendary Greek hero.
Oh, okay.
So that's
it is
good,
in
man.
Greece.
Yeah, you gotta love a nice Greek girl.
Yeah.
So I Leroy Jenkins, I love it. But I always love playing as women when I play games. Because. Yeah, if you're going to stare at an avatar for 40 hours, it might as well be a hot chick, right? So I'm stoked to play an Assassin's Creed as a girl. I always just think it's interesting, too. I don't get to live my life as a woman. I don't get to see things from their perspective. So when you play a game where there are attributes of the game that are different because you are a woman, I think that's a kind of a good experience to have. As a person, to try both genders and kind of see things from both point of view. So I enjoy doing that. It gets a little weird when dudes are like, trying to hit on you in the game, and I'm like, no, dude, I'm a dude, leave me alone, But when avatars or computer characters are trying to romance your character in games, that's interesting. It's interesting to see the difference between what they say versus how male characters interact with them.
I would definitely say that, in the Fallout series, it is they take special time to make sure that the responses and they call out to you, whistle and shit, stuff like that. It's just it's very interesting to see those two different perspectives.
Yeah, no, it is. It's cool. So I'm very glad that they added this in. I know that they made a couple of the side scrollers. I think Assassin's Creed China had a female character, a female protagonist. But again, you were locked into that choice.
Yeah, it was an option.
Yeah, a real story adventure that you could play through as either gender. I think is great. So,
man, I love that Rich T's totally coming into the house. He's like, all right, man, these guys are talking about games and stuff now, man. I am here to rock and roll. Oh my God, it's God, right?
That's right, man. That's Charboil's first notion of Rich T was telling him the stories of us playing what was it, NWO's
Revenge or something versus WCW,
yeah, something like that. WCW Revenge, I think that was it. But yeah, and Sting would come down from the cable in the sky, and Rich T was like, "Wait, what's this guy? Think he's God?
Oh, it's God!
Come down from the heavens." So he would do that every time from then on. He's like, "Oh, it's God! He's coming down."
I remember,
and then he did show up with a bat. So that was he did kick the shit out of everybody. So he did have some ominous powers.
So we've talked about Mega Man. We've talked about Assassin's Creed. What else is on the list here?
All right. Oh, we're not giving the IGN ratings on these. We almost forgot that for Odyssey here.
Lay it down. Let them know.
Like you said, this is so funny. IGN score was 9.2. Game Informer, 8.2. So again, there's your 10 points apart. This time flipped. Yeah. Either way, I think this is going to be a great game. I've literally never been disappointed by an Assassin's Creed game. I never played one that I was like, that one sucked. It was kind of boring. I've heard some people have. Maybe 3 wasn't great or something. I don't know. But I played the first one. I played the second one. I played a lot of those little in-between ones they had, the kind of Brotherhood stuff and things. And then, played a little bit of 4. I didn't get all the way through 4, but played every bit of freaking Unity. That was I first got my Xbox One, so I went nuts with that, And then I haven't got into Syndicate and stuff like that yet, so I got to catch up with those others. But I'm sure this is going to be a great game.
Absolutely, man. Like I said, Ubisoft, they usually put out some really awesome stuff.
No doubt, man. All right, so moving on from there, October 14th came out Call of Duty Black Ops 4, man. Now, I told you, Senior Bull, I got to make beef with this right off the bat, that I'm like, dude, their like promo picture is gonna be Nuketown like again. I'm like, come on, man. I get it. It's classic. I love the map. Everyone does. Kind of sick of playing it after four. I mean, it's not even in only 4 games because I think they even ported it into like Ghosts or something too. That it's over there.
They're like, "Did you see this well over here? Yeah, we're going back."
Yeah, I'm like, dude, I get it, but you got to bring something new to the table here, guys. And at the very least, this is so expected at this point that you can't be promoting with, "Oh, hey, Nuketown, Nuketown's back." It's in every freaking game. What? I don't care that that's back. Show me something new, guys.
And like, didn't the second game jump so far into the future? Like, how far is this? Yeah. Like, this has to be like...
Dude, literally Infinite Warfare was like in outer space. And I have to say, a lot of people didn't like Infinite Warfare. I didn't like Advanced, but Infinite was better to me because you suddenly got to be in a vehicle and fly a spaceship and shoot like guns and stuff at things in outer space. And I'm like, there you had a robot companion. Who would like throw grenades and, you could electrocute him and say like he did cool stuff. So I'm like, at least this is very different,
Yeah, well, that's what it really is. It's bringing something to the table that changes it up, that really lets you get into a different frame of mind. Yeah, that's why when the first Black Ops came out, I was like, oh, dude, like, playing like a game set in Vietnam like that. Yeah. That was like, wow, what a story,
Dude,
to be in the middle of all that.
That first Black Ops was so cool, man. That was a really, really fantastic game. But yeah, as soon as they went to Black Ops 2 and they're like, this is like 30 years in the future and the planet's now gray, apparently. Everything in the planet's gray. All of our UI stuff is orange. So I'm like, this looks like some kind of Halloween game. I don't want to play this, man. Considering how vivid the original Black Ops was, how vivid and lifelike everything was, and how it was just, there's no way else to describe it. It was oversaturated and vivid, but it was an experience, man. And I don't like that gray stuff. I see Aurelia down there says that it seems like Black Ops 3 reskinned and mixed with Battlefield 4. Why do you think it's mixed with Battlefield 4? What elements do you think they're stealing from there? I'd be really interested to hear what that is. Because like if they're doing vehicles or something in Call of Duty, shit, I'd be pretty impressed. But I doubt it's that aspect that you're referring to. So let me know.
Absolutely, man. Well, it sounds like the rest of the Legion of Love aren't giving as much love to the that once heavyweight contender of the first person shooter, because I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that in the sense that, I mean, I'm an old school Doom player and Quake and all that. I'm just saying at that time, if we're going to go back to like 2010, 2011, I mean, Call of Duty was like where it was happening.
Oh man.
Everybody couldn't wait for the next one to see what they were going to do. But man, let's go ahead and read these scores. These kind of surprised me as well.
Sure. So IGN gave this one an 8.5 and Game Informer gave it a 9.5.
Wow.
So those are pretty lofty scores. Those are like really, really high up there scores for a game that, I mean, dude, it comes out every year. Like 2 different companies are kind of pounding them out, and they do always kind of just seem like the same thing reskinned. I mean, playing Ghosts, the only really fun, interesting new thing about Ghosts was like the alien stuff. But you're like, that's like a totally different game. It's like not even the same game at that point. But if I'm more interested in playing that, it's like, oh, maybe I should get Halo. I don't know. It's like blasphemy, I know. But
well, I think even I think it was Rich T or someone mentioned. He said sounds a lot like Halo to me. So definitely, I think it kind of shares that opinion.
It does, but I have to say there are some elements that are strictly Call of Duty elements to me. Some of the combat fairing and stuff like that I do enjoy and I like, and it's nice that I can pick up a Call of Duty game of any year and be able to play it because it's not that very different. So that's fun. But when when you want to talk about the competitive nature of that game, I mean, come on, no one's really sitting around playing the single player. You burn through it to check it out, but you're putting your hours in on the multiplayer. But that kind of multiplayer is like you got to be in there early. You got to pump through a lot of the game. You got to play a lot of matches. You want to get good. So you don't really just want to jump in the middle of a Call of Duty game that's been out for a year and try to play it now. So you're just going to get the crap kicked out of you, by every multiplayer out there. So that's no fun.
Absolutely, man. Well, like I said, I guess there's some folks out there that really still love this series, and they're going out there, and I mean, it looks like the folks at IGN and Game Informer definitely still appreciate it, so there might still be something worth checking out there. So definitely we look forward to hearing if you guys have checked it out and you have some stuff, some good, well, hey, good and bad, let us know.
Let us know what you guys think if you've actually got your hands on it and managed to play a copy. But until then, let's go ahead and let's talk about a game we have played and we are pretty stoked about talking about.
Oh, you know it. We know a lot of people are out there talking about it. We're talking about Red Dead Redemption 2. Came out on October 26th, right before Halloween there, man. Everyone was like, pounding in some hours. I know he's going to be mad at me probably for mentioning this on the air, but, man, I know in the first weekend, Party Man Will put in over a day's worth of time into playing this game. And I think he's already past, like, day 2. So, I mean, he is, like, committed. But right there, it just goes to show you how much game is there to play.
Yeah.
It's like, I know he doesn't just go story mission to story mission.
I think he just leaves it on while he's smoking that stuff.
Or maybe he goes to sleep.
Yeah, he falls asleep in the middle of the plan. He wakes up 18 hours later.
But I wanted to bring up a really cool, what I feel is a really cool tidbit. It's the fact that you and I first mentioned this game. I went back in the notes. Our very first mention of Red Dead Redemption 2 was in September of 2016 on the Power Hour.
Yeah, and I know exactly why you're saying that, because for 2 years I've said the exact same thing on this program every time you ever mentioned Red Dead Redemption 2, and that was, I will believe it when I see it, and I have seen it, and I believe it.
And it's definitely out there, man. I definitely see there a lot of the PC fans, yes, they are very enraged that this has not made it to the PC, or like I like Justin Kerr's horse balls.
Yeah, 10 out of 10, man. It must be something with Justin's. When McPatches was in here last week, that was literally the exact thing he told me. I said, "Oh, did you play the Red Dead game?" He said, "Yeah, man. You see the big horse balls?" I was like, "Why is that what you want to talk about, man?" And I have to say, that's my thing with the game. I didn't play the original, right? I've seen Senor Bull play the new one, but I haven't played it myself, really. I watched him for like 5 seconds. It wasn't even like a big deal, right? But I've talked to a lot of people. A lot of people I know, probably half a dozen or so people, and I kind of listen in when I'm out places and I hear someone mentioning it. While we're at the con, there's people talking about it. You want to kind of listen to what people are saying. And I am really confused by what is going on in this game, because I have to say, everybody I talk to talks about 3 things. Hey, man, there's like this cool horse over here, and you can get this other upgraded horse, and if you sign up for this DLC thing, you can get a horse, and if you pre-ordered your game, you get this other horse, and you can get a great relationship with your horse, and you got to feed your horse and do nice stuff to your horse, and then you could sell this horse, buy a better horse, but if you go to this place, there's a different horse. And I'm like, okay, very intricate horse system. I get it. It's like a vehicle. You got to take care of it, right? And then they're like, oh, man, you can like go fishing, and like you can go fish, and you can like, you got to feed yourself, and you got to cook things and things like that. And they're like, oh, man, you can like play card games and like play poker. You can't really bluff people, but you get to play a lot of card games, stuff like that. Even some places you can go, you play blackjack, stuff like that. And then they have other weird games that aren't even like games in real life kind of thing. And I'm just like, dude, are you guys like cowboys? Don't you ever get into gunfights? Do you shoot people? I haven't heard anyone mention a gun in any of the talking about Red Dead Redemption. And I'm just like, didn't Rockstar make this game? Shouldn't it be all about guns?
No, man, they're just living the redemption part of the game.
I guess that's what it is.
They're not in the red because they're winning money at the cards. They're not dead because they're not getting into gunfights, but they're redeeming themselves.
This is like Unforgiven. Like, this is a guy who used to be an outlaw, and now you're just an old man in the West, I guess.
Well, I'm going to speak on this because I definitely have put in probably about a good 10 hours, I'd say, into the game. And yeah, man, it's got a very intriguing story system, and you really, where you go and the older Rockstar games you would play through and you'd go mission to mission, and you get a feeling for how like these other characters were. And you did. Yeah. You remember like, oh man, the voodoo lady in Vice City was so cool. There's so many like characters that stick out in your mind. Well, now take it as this, like, now, not only do you have a character with that much charisma and story that's like available all the time that you could just go up and talk to, and they're not just regurgitating the same old stuff. I mean, yeah, they're going to run out of stuff to say because they can only program so much, but it's like they're giving you some sort of a backstory or something that you're getting to know those characters, and it's not like, okay, I got to go here to do that. I mean, there is that too, where like you start a mission and then you got to kind of complete it before you can do that other stuff. But I just think that whole thing that where one person will play it one way and maybe they're not into the whole, story stuff, but someone else who plays it that's more into that, they're going to be like, wow, all the time and stuff they put into this game is just so cool. And it's beautiful. I mean, I'm riding around, I'm just like, dude, I can just ride around. because it looks so cool.
That's like when I'm playing Wildlands. I just fly around in a plane because the scenery is just beautiful, man. You get lost in it out there. But Aurelia made a great point out here. She says, "Oh yeah, Western Skyrim, man." And from what I've overheard, I think, and listening to what you're saying, that's very much the equation here. Is like Skyrim was only what you were going to make Skyrim. Like you could wander around and not ever get into a fight or kill anyone and pretty much complete the game in Skyrim, But that's not going to happen, in a lot of games, It's not going to happen if you're not looking for it, kind of a thing. So it's cool that Red Dead sounds like you get to kind of follow along in the story and do what you want to do, but what you focus on will be the things that you choose to focus on. So, and again, the people I talk to, there are a lot of nerds and stuff. Maybe they don't go camping and fishing and have horses of their own. So this is really interesting to them. But to me, I'm like, yeah, this is like fantasy. I want to know about the stuff I can't do in real life. Let me know how to smoke some people. Yeah.
Well, that's the grand part about it,
but
man.
It's in there. So
you absolutely don't have to play. There's a reputation system. So if you're a really mean person, you're going to get a lower reputation. But guess what? When you need to go into town and buy bullets or do something, they're not going to treat you so nice. Honestly, probably you walk into town, the bounty hunters are going to be waiting for you to blast the hell out of you. So it really does kind of keep you. I don't want to say you can't just be evil, but it's like you're kind of like, well, if I want to continue, you got to kind of walk the line, you know. And they don't give you a ton of money, so you really got to be like, okay, I got to be kind of sparing on just smoking everybody here. But I think it's getting all the praise it's getting is definitely well deserved. Not just the amount of time that they create. It took them 8 years to put this out. Yeah. But it does have a lot of redeeming things. I think the stuff that people like about it is stuff when people do sit down and play it, they're going to be like, awesome. I know a lot of people are throwing down stuff about The Witcher. Like, yes, The Witcher was definitely it's really set the tone for a lot of these other games where they're like, we have to live up to that level of storytelling and how it plays out. So that's a good example on, if someone has played The Witcher, when you play Red Dead 2, you're going to be like, okay, I see where Rockstar was taking some notes, But sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think you're right on the money there. I got to sit down and actually put my time into it because IGN and Game Informer are both unified in giving this 10 out of 10, man. They're saying it is the perfect game. So sounds like there's something there besides horse balls and fishing. So
well, I might
check it out.
I'll tell you what, even in my 10 hours, I think my percentage is like 15%, as far as the story goes. So, well, it's been, I'm not going to say it's my favorite game of all time or anything like that. Like, who knows, how the game's going to finish up.
Sure.
But so far, it's been very, very enjoyable.
Maybe it'll have a great ending like the first game did.
Oh, jeez, yeah. I know you said you've never really played much.
No, but I've heard that. I mean, that's like legendary, So they say early Black Friday rumors claim that sales ranging from $45 to $50 will be in place for this game. So, knocking about $15-20 off.
Sure.
Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And that's just the rumors right now. Who knows what those crazy doorbuster things?
I know.
You want to talk about getting an Uber to Beerfest? You better get an Uber to Black Friday, man, because I don't want to be out there with all those.
Well, you're not going to be able to walk when you leave.
I know, man. It will go. It'd be like as if they have Elvira pops or something.
I know, right? Something crazy like that. It'd be like they just told you that the new Diablo was a mobile game. All right, next up, we want to talk about Overkill's The Walking Dead, man. Now, this was a game that snuck up on both of us. We did not see anything coming out for this. And then, bam, all of a sudden, we're putting together this episode, and we saw some news, watched the trailers on this. This is coming out tomorrow, November 6th, right? So this is a full-fledged story Walking Dead game, right? It's a 4-player co-op shooter, all told in first person, where you go around as a 4-man group and revive your teammates and plan things out and try to survive among the dead and complete individual stories for the 4 co-op playable characters and maybe even more. But they have put out these amazing quality cinematic trailers or backstories for some of the characters. We watched the one for this gentleman here whose name I already forgot. We watched it like an hour ago. But the he's talking about his granddaughter and that he's trying to find her in the zombie apocalypse here, and that's kind of your mission when you're playing as him. So this sounds really, really engaging, and like there's going to be a lot of story involved in a first-person shooter, all set in the world with the same tone and atmosphere of The Walking Dead, I think this sounds like a recipe for success, man.
Oh, yeah, man. And, I'll probably get, ripped apart by walkers for saying this. Like, I wasn't a huge fan of The Witcher, but I see where even with a game like this, the amount, this is to me more interesting than any of the episodes of Walking Dead I've seen recently. Not that I still enjoy the show, but it's like, wow, man, being in these characters, like this one trailer that we watched, I'm like, wow, that's it. Like if that guy was in the TV show, I'd be much more like thrilled to tune in, But yeah, I'll definitely check this one out. Like like you said, I'd heard some inkling that they were making like a real deal Walking Dead game, like not one of the more shell shaded tall tale games. But man, like. Like this looks really cool.
Yeah, considering it's coming out tomorrow. What if it is a snake in a bit yet, right?
Oh, totally, man.
But I got a comment on one thing we talked about was the fact that it's first person. Is very much like this game's announced. It's going to catch you on the flanks. Because like when you watch the gameplay trailer, just like you would expect in a first-person game, you can only see right in front of you, and someone's trying to do something, and bam, a zombie hits them from the side that you never saw. So I'm like, boy, this, I'm surprised it's not a third-person game or that you have the option for third-person. But you brought up the excellent point of saying, like Resident Evil games that have moved on to first person, Fallout games where you play elements in first person. That jump scare, that surprise, really gives it a horror feel.
Oh, yeah.
So they may have locked you into first person to really create that scare factor, that need to look around and move around and be paranoid.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of exciting, man. So it sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, I definitely want to check this one out.
Yeah, it sounds like Aurelia's digging it, man. She's like, the first person makes it realistic, and she didn't even know this was a thing. So there you go. So the Power Hour love's all about connecting you. Cool stuff.
Well, while these aren't indie games, we're also just spreading the word and spreading the love, man. Like, and definitely let us know if you do check it out how it is.
Absolutely. All right. So the elephant in the room. All right. We're going to talk about Fallout 76
There's
a little bit.
You guys always talk about Fallout 76.
I don't think we've had a single week where we didn't mention Fallout 76 since like July. But this is coming out, of course, November 14th. Bethesda claims that Fallout 76 servers will remain online forever. Forever.
Man, forever is a long time,
It is, man. But it's an easy statement to claim because if they keep it on for 100 years, to us, they fulfilled that. You
got it, man. Forever's not too long when you when you think about the lifespan.
Yeah, I know they've shown a lot of people playing the beta test. People are able to take photographs and still shots and be able to post them. Yes. A lot of people seem to be just hanging out with Mothman, which is weird, but it looks like people are enjoying the hell out of the beta, and that it seems like the general feedback, of course, has some cons, has a number of pros to it, but it sounds like people are saying that the fun gameplay is really, really up there in this game, man. That while even people who didn't enjoy settlement building or maintaining in Fallout 4 are finding it far more meaningful in 76, and that there are some tweaks to really make it exciting.
Now, I know that was something that you really loved about Fallout 4 was the customization and building the settlements. I think I built like a like a cage around like Red Rocket, and that was pretty much it. Like I had a couple turrets and stuff like that, and people lived there. It was fun, but I wasn't doing that in numerous different settlements. Yeah. But from what I've read, like you said, is that it's making it so much more meaningful and customizable that people are like, dude, this is mine.
What's funny is like I don't like to mod the games. I'm always worried about modding my game and messing something up, right? So in my Fallout 4, I've actually built, I think it was in Somerville. It might have been Somerville, somewhere in that Somerville. No, Somerville's like southeast or southwest, right? It was up in the east.
It
was by the what was it, the SOG or the Slog?
Yes, yeah, I remember
the Slog. It was one of the ones by there. Like you remember there was like a forge. There was like a steel mill. It's one of the settlements around there. I built so tall that I was like, I want to go above the freeway. So I built a building that was as tall as the freeway and then kept building and actually hit the cap where you can only build so tall. Yeah, so it's pretty fun. I like to build stuff. All my settlements have like huge bang and stuff. My red rocket out in front of your hometown there, that first red rocket, I built a 4-story like mansion on the roof of it.
There you go.
It's pretty cool, and it's like open air on top, so you can like get in there and see the sky. And I have all my power armors set up on the ceiling there. I got like 20 of them. But.
Like I said, I know that was something you really enjoyed.
Yeah.
So man, I can't wait to hear what you have to say when 76 come out. What's a couple more pros that people are digging?
Well, they said the progression using this card system, that's kind of like a stat card, and you use it and change it, and it develops, is also something that they very much like. The variety of enemies that I know we talked about early on in the game. That was, I think, something in the hundreds, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, it was a lot.
They're not just recoloring them, or
yeah, they're totally different and unique, because I do kind of see how in Fallout 4 you saw a lot of the same things you saw in 3, and like New Vegas was so good about including all of these new unique creatures.
Oh, it was so cool.
And but again, they were West creatures, so they couldn't really be in the East. So these are going to be a lot of new and exciting different things, from the sloth type creatures that they have to the Mothman to all sorts of different urban legend things that they're based off of, but also the massive size of the map, which I do remember them saying is 4 times as large as the map in Fallout 4.
Definitely, man. That is definitely some size, man. And for, in a sense, being in a way an MMO, it's good that they're expanding that a bit, just so it's like, they want you to run into people, but you don't want to be on top of
you don't want people up your ass the whole game,
Well, I know I read a little bit about some of the cons, man. Okay. So I'm going to read them off and kind of describe them a little bit so nothing's misunderstood. But I also want to hear what you have to say. And definitely Legion of Love, let us know what you guys think. Well, one of the cons that people are laying down, and this has, I know I've been saying Witcher the whole night, but I think this really, I think that has changed a lot of the element is. A lot of people are saying one of the cons for Fallout 76 is the graphics in the game. I mean, when you look at a game, like Red Dead and even that upcoming Walking Dead game, I mean, yeah, man, they are beautiful. They look like a movie, I mean, it's just great. But I think the thing about Fallout games, even going back to the first few games, it was never really about graphics. I mean, they didn't look bad, but like it's all about gameplay.
Well, I'll say this: when Fallout 4 came out, it was stunning.
Oh,
it was stunning. The way people could get wet, their clothes and stuff, the specularity would change on it, and everything like that. So that game was really impressive when you sat down with it. But I think one thing people are forgetting is that when you look at the nuts and bolts of these games, there's still a polygon count. There's still a render count. There's still only so much you can cull. There's only so much you can billboard. Which means eventually you need to scale down your graphics to increase your world and increase your performance. So I think if Bethesda's taking the route of saying we want a larger map and we want the best performance we can get, so we'll keep the graphics at Fallout 4 and not improve from there, I am 1,000% fine with that, because like you said, while graphics are great, we all still loved Super Mario when it was 8-bit. We all still loved the first Mortal Kombat, even though we played X.
Yeah. No, absolutely, man. Like the graphics will, and like I said, I've seen footage, and I don't think it looks bad.
No, but I think it does look like Fallout 4.
Yes,
and I think that's where people are kind of complaining. You're like, oh, that's a couple years old, and you're like, well, dude, but still, look at what you're getting instead of graphics. You're getting so much more game.
Now, I think this next one that people are listing as cons is definitely more of a thing for the console versus the PC, because having a bomb-ass PC would kind of would kind of override this. But the frame rate, I guess, so far, remember, it is a beta. Break it early, But I guess a lot of people have complained that, now that you're in the MMO world, I mean, that matters. We know when we played Friday the 13th, and when Jason would suddenly be over there, and now he was over here because some other dude had some, something got a little hung up. You were like, what the So, but once again, it's probably a beta server, so you got to take that into consideration. But that's what people have said. If that hits when the game launches, if it's going to be that same level, people are going to really start complaining.
Why is Justin K busting on my PC? What's he doing out there? My PC would dust your PC. Don't even mess with me, man.
I will say that, Bandito and I have very similar PC rigs, and yeah, they're pretty badass. And we should probably just play on PC. But I don't know. There's, of course, I played the first.
I do want to check with you on this because it sounds like you're describing latency as opposed to frame rate.
Well,
so frame rate, I think, would be a problem that's more on the PC side where they're trying to play the game at 60 frames a second.
Sure.
Where a console would be locked into a frame rate that they already have. So a console shouldn't have problems with frame rate.
Well, like I said, I read about 5 different pros and cons, and this one showed up on 3 of them. And the examples that they gave were that they felt that they were at a disadvantage.
I get what you're saying. Like, okay, so people are seeing things in the frame rate faster than other people. So so you were giving a latency example to express what the frame rate's doing to people when they're playing the game.
Yeah. Okay. So like I said, it's something that it can definitely be fixed. It's not a permanent flaw.
Yeah, and it's not a super big deal. I mean, seriously,
I just think, and I think that's what it is. Like a couple of these cons, I'm going to give when I read the later part of some of the comments that people were putting, they're like, well, that doesn't really quantify because it's how you're trying to play the game is different than how they're expecting you to play it. But the third thing was, there's a lot of bugs, and we're not talking about the good fun ones where like you got a cow in the middle of your house and it's kind of funny picture,
and not rad roaches.
Well, there probably are quite a few of those, but absolutely, people are just saying that obviously they put it out as the break it early edition for people that are playing the beta, so they're finding a lot of things, which is good. That means when El Bandito and I get in there and start playing, they'll hopefully have fixed a lot of this crap.
I have to say, we saw a lot of stories about people bitching about the bugs, and you're like, dude, you're playing the beta, you ding dong. Like, they know shit's not gonna work in some places. They want you to find stuff that's not working so they can fix it.
Exactly.
So that just as a con, that's probably the least one you have to worry about.
Probably not fair, but let's be honest. We saw them take down the Shutter servers for Joe Bob. I mean, I'm looking forward to playing this when it first comes out. But if that first day, if I can't play because the servers crash, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna be like, oh man, I mean, I want to play it, but it's like, this is really, besides Elder Scrolls, this is kind of like their first jump with the Fallout universe and the MMO, and it's really, really popular now. So it's like, it's probably gonna have some setbacks.
Yeah. Well, I remember when you jumped on Arkham City Origins right when it first came out. And they had some massive bugs in that game. One of which both you and Party Man Will ran into, that it completely deleted your saved game.
Yeah, that sucked.
Yeah, man. And I know one, I don't remember who it was, but one of the two of you was like, I never went back and played the rest of the game.
I think we may have made that claim, but we swallowed our pride.
Okay, it was probably many months later.
Maybe we like shared a save file or something that was a little earlier.
But either way, I know eventually, like a year later or something, I sat down and played the game, and they had patched it. It was all fixed up, and it was fine. So that's kind of a gamble you take when you get a first day game, because in today's market where people are trying to meet deadlines, they're trying to get things out there, and they know they can put out a patch. Dude, they're putting out more and more broken games all the time. AAA games are coming out broken all the time. But I trust Bethesda. Bethesda, we love you. Like, they usually do a pretty good job of putting out a game that works fairly well. So, I think they're really doing something different here, and I got a feeling they're crossing the T's and dotting the I's, especially doing this kind of beta now. So I'm hoping by November 14th, this thing's going to rock and roll, and we'll all have a good time. We hope to see you guys out in the wasteland.
I think Rich T definitely calls it out right there. We're really like throwing down some nerd stuff right there in the Legion of Love. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Rich T. Like, I mean, I think I do have to side with Bandito on this, where hopefully they're going to be prepared. I mean, it might go down for a little bit, but just like the whole Shutter thing with Joe Bob, they were back up in a couple hours, and it's just to be expected when you're putting out something of this. It's not, I get it, in a perfect world, it'd be great where we could all get on and have fun. I do also see what Justin K's saying, that those game-breaking boys, man, if they get in there and they do, it's going to ruin your experience. But the main thing is, hey, try to find some folks that are on that same play as you are. One other thing I wanted to mention, some people were dogging the story for as a con, just saying that, it's not your typical Fallout. But then, like I said, later on in the comments, someone said, well, how did you play? And the guy's like, oh, I ran around. I wanted to do like PvP stuff. And they're like, well, then what did you even, like, you didn't even care about his story. How could that be a con, you know?
Yeah. Well, either way, expectation is always something that you have to manage personally. Obviously, it can be misled by things like Blizzard, but there are expectations you should have when you watch a lot of the E3 conferences and stuff where they're kind of telling you what the game's about. So I have a number of friends that are like, I will probably not play this game, although they are diehard Fallout fans, because they don't think that's their cup of tea to play multiplayer games. That's fine, man. Not everything's for everyone. That's what makes the world go round. But I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with it. I think Senior Bowl is going to have a lot of fun with it. I think if we get there day one and a bunch of shit breaks, we're not going to rant and rave. We're going to come back in a week, see if it works then.
Hey, as long as it doesn't delete my save file, like that's what like gets me. I mean, if I can't play it today because they're fixing some shit, hey, I probably have 10 other things I should be doing.
Yeah, we're probably going to piss and moan, but, you know.
But, yeah, if my save file gets, like, deleted, I'll be pretty pissed off about that. But, yeah, no, I like you said, I do trust Bethesda. Real quick, I know it's getting late. Thank you guys so much for partying. I had ordered one of the Pip-Boy editions for Fallout 4. My Pip-Boy came damaged.
Broken.
Damn,
the whole knob thing broke right off.
Exactly. And I mean, I paid good money for it.
Yeah, right out the box. It wasn't like you were fiddling with it and it broke, you know?
I reached out to Bethesda like that same week that the game dropped. And I'm like, look, I know you guys are hella busy, but look, I got this. I sent them some pictures of it and stuff. And they said, man, send us all your information and a picture of the receipt that you bought this through, like GameStop or whatever, and we'll make this right. So I was like, all right, cool. So I sent that off. About a week later, I get a package, big-ass package. Now, it wasn't the whole box or whatever, but it was a smaller box, but I opened it up. I got a brand-new Pip-Boy, completely perfect. No letter of like, hey, send that broken one back. It's almost pretty much like, here, these are both yours, but here's the real badass part. And the bottom of that box, I had a copy of Fallout Monopoly. So they're like, not only did they give me a new Pip-Boy, like they totally gave me a free board game.
Yeah, like a $45, $50 game.
Just for the trouble that they're just like, hey, man, we wanted to make this right. So, like I said, they definitely they get an attaboy Bethesda for that one. So
throw Bethesda some love. You know we love you. We don't even need to throw the hearts up for you, Bethesda. But anyways, we have one last game we're going to share with all you beautiful people tonight. We'll let you get back to gaming and having some fun out there.
The Legion's like, they're like, Bethesda. We do. We love Bethesda. It's a lot.
We're just hoping they'll send us some free shit. No.
More.
We're gonna buy it all anyways. It doesn't matter. All right. Last but not least, Super Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Dude, yeah. You know, I mean, I've played a couple of these Super Smash Brothers with Mr. Fusion. Big fan of Nintendo, and I've always thought they were fun. Like it's kind of cool, all the different powers and stuff that they give each character. It's a fighting game. I do enjoy fighting games. So.
I will say Nintendo's got to be a little careful. This is the wrong date up here. I just realized that.
Oh.
Damn. It's actually dropping December 7th.
Oh, man. Okay.
And that was important to put on there, and I screwed it up. So I apologize for that. But, yeah, it's a little I think Nintendo's taking a gamble, putting out a game on the anniversary of Pearl Harbor.
Oh, gotcha.
It seems like you could have pushed that a day or something, one way or the other. That's also Bishop's birthday, though, so that's pretty cool.
Well, you know, I was going to say, I mean, I'm surprised they're not trying to get this out early in November because then it does get collected in that whole Black Friday, you know, purchases and stuff. But they're like, the thing about Nintendo is they have their fan base, so I think they're like, people are going to buy it anyway.
Well, it's going to be in time for Christmas, and people have to pay full price, so maybe it's a good tactic.
Listen, is Bowsette in there? That's all.
Man, oh, man.
Well, she may not be, but we did pick 5 interesting characters that we thought were fun.
You know, I got to tell you, like, we read that story about Bowsette for the Halloween thing of people dressing up.
Yeah.
When I looked up those photos on my phone, every day Google is sending me stories about Bowsette stuff now, and I'm like, come on, man.
That's what it is. It's like, oh, we found what you're into.
I know.
Now.
They're like, oh, it's one of them. Send the pervert things.
I mean, not to say that I wasn't, you know, but I kept my eyes open at Daytona Beach Comic Con just to see
you
if there was
looking.
There were Bowsette over there. But here's the 5 characters that we thought are interesting. One of the fighters is Dr. Mario, not just regular Mario. We're talking a doctor.
I know.
So look at that, man. He went from being a carpenter.
Contractor. Carpenter to being a plumber to being a doctor.
There you go, man. That's schooling right
Maybe
there.
He's a proctologist and he works on your plumbing.
There you go. So I have a feeling he's gonna be throwing pills and stuff at people. So
That's the wrong message to send to America right now, Japan. We have an opiates problem over here.
Here's a couple pills. Dr. Mario will get you all right. They're like, listen, you just need Mario to come over and yell at you.
Yeah, exactly. Tell you to straighten up.
The other character I thought was cool was Ridley. No, we're not talking about from not
Aliens.
Not Aliens. Ridley Scott. We're talking about from Metroid, the big like dragon looking thing. He's gonna be or she's gonna be in there.
That's cool.
Tearing things up.
Is Samus still gonna be there too?
Oh, absolutely. They actually have two versions of Samus. There's the classic suit one, and then they have her in her Zero suit, which is
Yeah, I should have pulled it for the news, but Brie Larson dressed up like Samus in the Zero suit for Halloween.
Man,
so that was pretty hot.
I was gonna say that's just one of those. I think they could make a good Metroid movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're making awesome, anime-ish, Castlevania on Netflix.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they'll do something like that for Metroid. But
okay. Now tell me who this next person is.
All right.
I'm not familiar with this.
Bayonetta was a game that came out on the Wii, which I'm actually, I know we don't like to get into all this stuff on the power. Like, I don't think Bayonetta the game would come out like today. I think like she's an independent character that kicks a lot of ass, but she's like very oversexed too.
Okay,
like she's a witch.
Yeah.
But she does like these like hex spells, but like her clothes disappeared. I mean, I think it's really cool,
but it's racy.
Yeah, in today's sensitive nature of things, of how everything's like looked over.
Well, then I'm glad. Good for you, Nintendo. Man.
Exactly. Like but I'm just wondering.
Put some skanks in your games. We're down.
Well, I'm just wondering if in the game she's gonna do anything akin to like. I mean, she has guns.
Well, dude, have you ever played any other Japanese game? Because I'm pretty sure they're like, yeah, she could do that. That's fine.
Exactly. She's fine.
Yeah,
she's fine.
Cool.
Yeah. But yeah, so she's just, I mean, very cool character.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with the character, but I'm just like.
So you're like, look, if I hit ABABX, she pulls out some sort of octopus. What is she going to do with that?
I mean, some of the hexes were pretty awesome. Like, she put like a guy in a guillotine and like keep kicking him in the ass, and then like the guillotine chops his head. I mean, it was for a Nintendo game, it was pretty wild.
Pretty savage, huh?
But yeah, the third or the fourth person on the list would have to be Cloud from Final Fantasy VII with his big ass Buster Sword. We don't know if these guys have been in other Smash Brothers, but I just thought these were kind of cool.
The Buster's back.
Yeah, the Busters. But the fifth one, I thought this was funny. I don't think these two have ever been in a Smash Brothers, but they've got Duck Hunt, so it's the dog and the bird.
Yeah.
So it's like
I hope you just play as birds attacking him, and that dog jumps up in the background and is like,
woof woof woof.
Oh, you could tell how good we both were at that game, because you had the woof woof woof, and I had the one where the dog's like, you didn't shoot anything.
Oh, he's laughing at you. Then maybe he's laughing.
Yeah, but he goes like that. He's like,
Oh, now you can finally get the dog, though. You always wanted to shoot him, and he's laughing at you. Now you can blast him with Samus in Super Smash Brothers.
There you go, man.
Well, definitely, man. Well, I think that's just about going to wrap it up for all of our game talk, man. But
absolutely, man. Again, this is coming out December 7th. Sorry about the tag on this one. That's December 7th. That's going to be dropping right in time for Christmas, guys. But yes, absolutely. That is our set, our top picks of video games coming out fall of 2018. We hope you guys saw some cool games on there. We appreciate you throwing some comments in there. If you want to spread and share this video to some other folks and get in their ear about some cool, awesome, fun games, feel free. We love all you guys out there. Thanks so much for joining us. We got to throw a big shout out to Rob Andersin and the Indie Advocates again.
Absolutely.
Thanks for hooking us up. Thanks for having a great weekend with us, man. We love what you guys do. Everyone, please, we threw it in the description here, some links to the Indie Advocates page and to the following casework Kickstarter.
Yes. Definitely go out there, help them make that miracle happen. Like we said earlier, also thanks to Tom and his crew at the Daytona Beach Comic-Con, man. Those guys are if anyone can make a miracle happen, it's those guys, man. Because every time they put on an event, man, I feel like I've just stepped into like my own personal, paradise, so
absolutely,
definitely, man. So much fun. And, I think, we'll have to talk with Rob, but maybe even before the year's out, maybe we can get him on the Power Hour, as one of our guests. Well, we'll have to see what we can work. He's a very busy guy, always keeping the indie advocates up to date and then hitting up all these cons. So, but we'll see what we can do for our Power Hour of Love. Legion of Love.
Absolutely, guys. And of course, we got to thank all you beautiful people out there because we couldn't do it without you guys, and we do it for you guys. So here's some love for all you beautiful people out there. We will catch you next Monday night, 9 p.m. We'll be back talking about some fun, awesome stuff. We'll keep it a surprise for now, but you'll enjoy it. We'll see you then.
Yeah.